is a movement in this country to take away women's right to vote. And if that sounds outrageous to you, or if you think I must be exaggerating, then you need to see what has been happening today. So outside of Lindsay Clancy's courtroom, outside of the courthouse having her trial, women gathered wearing pink in order to show their support for her. Now, you can have whatever opinion you want about Lindsay Clancy or the women supporting her, but prominent voices on the right saw those women and responded with a pretty uniform message: repeal the 19th Amendment. They were saying things on their platforms like, remember, these women still have the right to vote. And this didn't start with Lindsay Clancy. There has already been a push from the Christian nationalist movement. You can read it in Project 2025, saying that giving women the right to vote was a mistake and political power should belong only to the husbands who are the head of the household. Now, are they anywhere close to having enough votes to repeal a constitutional amendment? No, I'm not saying that. But please remember, rights aren't lost on the day somebody passes a law saying your right is gone. They are lost after people spend years making an unthinkable idea sound thinkable. Women fought for generations for the right for us to have a voice in our own government. So we need to pay attention when people start talking about we shouldn't have that right. It's unthinkable today. It's unthinkable until it's not. Go love your neighbor.
I'm about to say is going to cause you to have a lot of big feelings, and that's because it's true, but you're not going to like it. You cannot say that what Lindsay Clancy did was acceptable or understandable or treated as such because of her postpartum depression or psychosis, because what men are hearing in some women, even including myself, with the way some of you guys put it and even act, the way you act around this case, is you're basically saying that women are so emotional that they unalive their kids. And if women are so emotional that happens, we are too emotional to have rights.
In a recent study, it was found that 95% of all family annihilators are men, specifically white, cis, straight men. 90% of all reported rape victims are female, 10% are male. 1 in every 5 women will experience SA within their lifetime. 1 in every 25 men will experience SA within their lifetime. Most victims are young adults. Most perpetrators are male acquaintances. 62% of those family annihilators that I mentioned earlier that are male have a history of domestic violence. Separation is the #1 trigger for family annihilation. 81% of family annihilations committed by men happen when the woman is going to leave. Now, I can give you all the sources for all of the things that I've told you about. Bureau of Justice Statistics is one. This is real. If you think that a woman suffering from postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, which is not talked about enough, is not studied enough, if you think that people advocating for her mental health, not advocating for what she did or didn't do, and we're not going to get into conspiracy, not advocating for what she did, advocating for the fact that the system failed her repeatedly, the people around her failed her repeatedly, and that happens to women all of the time. I personally think that the Lindsay Clancy case is going to open the eyes of women who aren't like you, with the IQ of a peanut shell, babes. Open the eyes of women to see that the system at hand is an issue, and we will not get liberated. We will not progress as a society if we continue on the path that we are on.
Really tired of men getting away with all of these things, doing this for decades. I mean, look at the state of the country. Look at the state of the world that we live in. That's all men's doing. They're the ones that have had all the power. They're the ones who have been in the leadership. And look, because they annihilate their families at a more exponential rate, at a higher rate, should they not have rights? Huh?
Bye. Go read a book. Go learn something. Toodles.
They should be commended because they did.
I've had it with you.
Oh my God! They should be commended. They didn't kill their
misogyny.
children. She's a murderer. These women are cheering.
Okay.
These are man-hating women that are standing outside. This is what it's about. They think the husband did it. They're crazy. They've lost their mind.
Do you know why
they're waving for a murderer?
Do you know why the woman is in a wheelchair? Did you even notice that she's
couldn't care less. She's a murderer.
Because she jumped out the window after this happened.
So she should have. I'd have pushed her. They say that Lindsay was in psychosis. I think these women are suffering from psychosis. They've been watching too many true crime Netflix dramas. You know, this was a incredibly privileged woman, incredibly wealthy. She had a nanny, and she's still complaining that she needed help. She could not have got more help from the system that she already had received. This is a murderer who strangled her children one by one. One of the boys ran away, and she chased him down and killed him.
Laurie Watkins.
What you just said was absolutely disgusting.
Thank you.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you.
And you can hear that he's not. Okay?
Why? Because it's true.
You clearly don't care, so pipe down.
I don't care. And by the way, men watching this, if you have a woman sat next to you on the sofa who is defending this murderer, you got to think deeply about this. I've seen weddings.
So we need to have some empathy with.
Talk to your women and find out what are they thinking. They're defending this woman. It's
I don't think anybody's defending what she did, but you can have empathy for what she went through and how she.
I know many women that this has happened to. No, they did not kill their children, but they also, what you failed to mention.
They should be commended because they did.
I've had it with you.
Oh my God, they
And
should be
your
commended. They
sexism
didn't
and
kill their children. She's a murderer. These women are cheering.
Did she murder 3 of her children? Yes. Do I think she should go to prison for it? No, probably not. Stop thinking about these kids as people and think about them as ceramic vases for just 1 second for me.
Defending Lindsay Clancy doesn't make you a girl's girl, and while I do have empathy for her situation, the way the internet has been defending her is not pro-woman at all. In fact, it speaks to a larger issue in our society of infantilizing women at the expense of children. In a previous video, I actually talked about how society's refusal to acknowledge women's capacity for harm strips us of our humanity and agency. And the discourse that I've seen continue to unfold around this case has only further proven that point. Because while this case could have been a great opportunity for us to have a productive conversation and raise funds for awareness around postpartum depression and psychosis, and have a meaningful conversation about the importance of women's health, particularly after giving birth and during pregnancy, it has done nothing of the sort. Because rather than letting this case be an example of the real harm that women can do when they don't have access to the proper healthcare and support that they need, they are instead shifting the blame in entirely and saying that either Lindsay Clancy just didn't do it, or that somehow her husband is more guilty than she is, even though she is the one who actually did the crime. And when we shift the focus from the woman to the man in a case like this, we are not only downplaying women's agency in general, we are also keeping ourselves from being able to have productive conversations that would prevent other women and children from enduring the same fate that Lindsay Clancy and her family have had to go through. And what's bothered me so much about this is it feels like in the attempt to advocate for Lindsay Clancy, I've seen a lot of women downplay the injustice that the children have gone through and focus more so on the injustice that Lindsay is supposedly facing. And that's not fair. And for me, it really bothers me because I also see this trend happen when we're talking about domestic violence, and I'm someone who has endured that both as a child witnessing it and as an adult. And I can say that it's important for us to have empathy for the adult parent who is a victim of abuse, but it is equally, if not more, important for us to have empathy for the children who are enduring it and have no choice, literally no choice, to leave. So yes, empathy for Lindsay Clancy for postpartum depression and psychosis is important. Empathy for survivors of domestic violence is important, but we cannot treat women as if they have no agency. Women, while we may be oppressed, are not children, and we have to stop talking about women's issues as if we are in situations where we have no ability to make decisions about our lives and the way we want them to play out. Because when we infantilize women in that way, we are undermining the things that their children, in many cases, are enduring. The ones who literally have no agency, who literally have no ability to leave the situations that they were born into. Not that they married into or dated into, but were born into. I want better for women, and I want us to acknowledge all the hardships that we endure, and that starts with understanding that we are fully actualized humans who are able to make decisions about our lives. And while we may need additional support in order to act out some of those decisions, we still have more agency than children, and we should not be advocated for in the same way that we need to be advocating for children. Because when we do not do that, and when we treat women as if they have no agency, there are children whose voices are no longer being heard.
Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. When Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty. She was put into an intentional psychosis when she probably just needed to give her kids away for a weekend to get better, but they constantly give you these drugs that do not make things better. And the cocktail of 10 pharmaceuticals that she was on is absolute madness. Absolute madness. I
So
made
you
my
can
thoughts
pause that
clear.
and then go to the last one with this lady, and then we'll get into it. Go for it. The one that you guys are telling me you want to show. I haven't seen this one, so no, the one you just texted me. The one you just texted me.
That's her on the bottom, right?
Guys, this one you just texted me to say this is the one you want to play. Is that the one, or is it a different one?
In January of 2023, Lindsay
Go ahead.
Clancy, a Massachusetts mother of 3, strangled her 3 kids to death in her basement with exercise bands. They were 5, 3, and 8 months old. Her trial is this week. She's being charged with first-degree murder, and the question is whether or not she was undergoing a psychotic episode.
I get what you said. You can pause it right here. So, John, where's your position out with this? So, on one end, a lot of these women that are following saying it's not her fault, it's the doctor's fault. They medicated her. We're trying to find a solution for this. And then some are saying, wait a minute, she just killed her 3 kids. What do you mean it's not her fault? What's your position?
Yeah, I don't know if this has been your guys' experience, but in my experience, I tend to find that women struggle with accountability sometimes. And so I think that, it makes sense that they would all want to take to the streets and say that they sympathize with her because they could see themselves doing that, which if you're a mother, that's kind of a disturbing thing to say if you have children, putting that idea into their mind that like you perhaps could have had a bad day and killed them. But I think she's obviously guilty. I think that everything people are trying to do here is absolve her of guilt by saying it's the system's fault, which the subtext of that is it's like the male dominated system or something. All of the doctors who wrote her those prescriptions were female doctors. She was also doctor shopping specifically for medications. Like
the doctors that gave it to her were female doctors?
Yeah, she was. So not only she was going out of her way to get these medications, and then she was also getting them, I believe, from if not.
All right, man. You got this Lindsay Clancy, situation where now, people talking about, women may lose the right to vote. What is that? 19th Amendment, something like that. And the internet always goes to the extreme. A lot of the women, they watch the show, the Handsmaid. I just started watching that with my girl. My coworker already told me what it was about or how it ended. And it was wrote by a Canadian author. I think he might have been a man. It could be a man or a woman. I don't remember. But in the internet, man, people just like to go to the extreme. The extreme doesn't just happen off on one moment. It's just like a NFL game or NBA game come down to one play. It just never really it can come down to one play, but it really didn't come down to one play, if you feel what I'm saying, because you have 52 or 100 possessions before that to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? So what people kind of saying is the turning point of people defending her postpartum and all that type of stuff. And, what's not been said in these conversations is that men get postpartum too. Men struggle from postpartum as well. So you don't really hear people, advocating for that. And, it's a couple people who had, and I try to find some clips. I was watching the Average Man Unplugged channel. Shout out to him. Shout out to Ohio. That was saying that, postpartum, men deal with a insurmountable amount of stress that women can never even fathom being on our shoulders. She was financially well off from what I understand. Chased down one of the kids allegedly. And at that point, I think it's negligence, just to get my synopsis on it from what I understand. There's negligence on both sides of it, on all sides, because if you was a parent, if you was a friend knowing her struggles, I even heard allegedly that she was going through the psych ward or got some mental health pills and all this type stuff. You the husband and knew this, you should have just, you have money, sent her away, and as a man, you got to be hands-on in the process too. Your money ain't just enough. You got to help out. But they said she had a nanny, all types of stuff. So these, people just batshit crazy, man. People just batshit crazy, man. This is allegedly, but people just batshit crazy, man. Gotta watch who you have kids with, man. You gotta watch who you be around. A lot of these people demons, But, women are always crying and complaining about it's so hard. There's always going to be a complaint with most women. It don't matter. She got nanny, she got money, she's still complaining. She still did this. So a lot of the women think about money and the nanny and the chef and the cook and all this stuff. Don't matter. It don't matter. Y'all always going to complain. It's never enough. Y'all just don't want to do nothing. Y'all just want to exist just to have fun, and that's just not life. There's a joy in taking care of your children, especially when you start talking about you need a nanny. No, man, take care of your children. That's your job to wipe butts, your job to do this. Yeah, and that's your family's job as well too. Moms come over, nieces come over, cousins come over, grandmothers come over. Y'all take shifts. People are way too comfortable having their children around, people. Nannies, maids, all that. People will be way too comfortable having their children around any and everybody. When you have a young baby before it's able to really express itself verbally, you should have him or she around people that you know. But all of them need to be on trial. Everybody that was involved, the husband, the mothers, the grandma, everybody need to be on trial for some type of negligence. I don't know what the charge would be, but for women, women defending it, it don't surprise me, man. That's evil, bro. That's demonic to defend a woman. We're not defending it. We're just talking about postpartum. Well, the female slaves had postpartum, and they were slaves. You know what I'm saying? They were slaves. So what are we really talking about? Y'all are just some evil batch of women. That's just what it boiled. What are we talking about? The females people that was in slavery came over on ships. People that was beat. People that would dream to be able to take care of their kids. Kids was taken from them at birth sometimes. Split the family up across the nation in plantations. And here y'all, oh my gosh, I understand. Like, why would you understand that? How can you even fathom going through 9 months? Is it 9 months? Going through all that pain, whether it's with epidural or you doing natural birth or whatever drugs you take, you pushing the child out, you hold that child and you just sitting there like, you want to delete them based on what? Children being children. Just let you know, man, women will defend anything. And this is extreme. To me, this part, defending a woman that doing this to their children, you understand? And this is just if it's gonna tip the scales or start to tip the scales, let's not jump to the point where women lose the right to vote. How about we jump to the point where Kentucky is at and Arkansas is at, where it's just not mandatory, it's mandatory 50-50 custody. The children don't automatically go to the mother. How about we jump to that part of it? Where the children, it's up to, for synopsis, how much money you make, mental health checks. You go through a criteria of things that the state deems which parent is worthy. And if both parents are worthy and they should just split custody, or if one parent want to give up custody, that's it. You hear women even once you kind of just think about it, once you build this case, before I kind of really dig into women, dig into the other point of it about the reporter and them arguing. Once you really dig into it, dog, think about it. Women wanted to vote, even the women that voted for Donald Trump, but a lot of women wanted to vote for Kamala based on the opportunity to delete their children. So now, if that wasn't heinous enough, people don't look at that as taking a life. If that wasn't heinous enough, now you fast forward a year or some change later, a couple years later, right? You fast forward, now they're defending deleting born children because of postpartum. They ain't got nothing to do. All this help you got, she probably had a doula, she had a nanny, a maids, all this stuff. I see women complain about not having help and people lining up to help women. Women just like to be professional victims, bro. Just think about how deeper and deeper that we going into it goes from deleting the baby in the womb. Oh, women don't think there's nothing evil to do with that. Then it go from deleting the baby to the womb to postpartum deleting young infant and young toddler children. So I mean, come on now. So should these women really be making decisions? And we can't treat them like a monolith, because for every case like this, there's phenomenal mothers. But also when you kind of talk about taking a vote or thinking about taking a vote or talking about this may be the starting point for taking a vote, think about us. A lot of women out here, 3 different children, 3 different baby daddies. Should they even be making decisions on children or their own lives? Bad decision making. And the thing about it is because it cripples community. But as soon as it starts to get to the affluent communities, to the top, to the well-rounded communities, it becomes an issue. Just like this, it may spark the turning point of something because it's in the affluent community. It's amongst rich people, and people just evil, man. People in general are just evil. But then you have the news anchor and them arguing and all this type of stuff. If you fighting and arguing and calling somebody a feminist for calling out somebody for allegedly deleting their children, like, bro, do you see what you sound? You sound like. He's absolutely right. But they don't care about the children. When they go have the children with a man, they don't care about the children. When they go to the abortion clinic, they don't care about the children. When a lot of these women had the children, they only had the children for financial means. They only had the children for financial means. Most of these women they don't believe in a nuclear family. They're not having the children to have a well-rounded individual, build generational wealth, build a stronger family bond. No. Most of these women are having children for financial means, to be on Section 8, to have an excuse not to work, to get an additional stream of income, to live off of it. When you look at it, man, a lot of these their agendas are pure demonic. They're pure demonic. They leave their kids with anybody as long as they can go to the club. They have their kids watching themselves. Have prison pookie around their kids. Weird uncles around there. They don't care nothing about their kids. Their kids is just for a welfare check. Their kids is just for a child support check. And their decision making do be off. It really does. Just think about when they talk about vote. They voted for the right to delete their children. And now they're voting for the right. Now they're advocating, to use postpartum as an issue. Come on. This is sick shit. This is sick shit. And they wonder why they got in a situation like that TV show The Handmaid. You wonder how you get in situations like this. You got what you wanted. You got every right. In a lot of cases, you got more rights than men. But with women, it's never enough. And this may not be the point, but they like to take more and more and more. They like to be very greedy, and they're going to find themselves in a bad position. I'm telling you. All it takes is the right extreme person to get in there. Real talk. But hey, man, that's all I had to say on it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, Christian Chance notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link in the description. Find me everywhere. Peace.
I'm about to say is going to cause you to have a lot of big feelings, and that's because it's true, but you're not going to like it. You cannot say that what Lindsay Clancy did was acceptable or understandable or treated as such because of her postpartum depression or psychosis, because what men are hearing in some women, even including myself, with the way some of you guys put it and even act, the way you act around this case, is you're basically saying that women are so emotional that they unalive their kids. And if women are so emotional that happens, we are too emotional to have rights.
In a recent study, it was found that 95% of all family annihilators are men, specifically white, cis, straight men. 90% of all reported rape victims are female, 10% are male. 1 in every 5 women will experience SA within their lifetime. 1 in every 25 men will experience SA within their lifetime. Most victims are young adults. Most perpetrators are male acquaintances. 62% of those family annihilators that I mentioned earlier that are male have a history of domestic violence. Separation is the number one trigger for family annihilation. 81% of family annihilations committed by men happen when the woman is going to leave. Now, I can give you all the sources for all of the things that I've told you about. Bureau of Justice Statistics is one. This is real. If you think that a woman suffering from postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, which is not talked about enough, is not studied enough, if you think that people advocating for her mental health, not advocating for what she did or didn't do, and we're not going to get into conspiracy, not advocating for what she did, advocating for the fact that the system failed her repeatedly, The people around her failed her repeatedly. And that happens to women all of the time. I personally think that the Lindsay Clancy case is going to open the eyes of women who aren't like you, with the IQ of a peanut shell, babes. Open the eyes of women to see that the system at hand is an issue. And we will not get liberated. We will not progress as a society if we continue on the path that we are on.
Really tired of men getting away with all of these things, doing this for decades. I mean, look at the state of the country. Look at the state of the world that we live in. That's all men's doing. They're the ones that have had all the power. They're the ones who have been in the leadership. And look, because they annihilate their families at a more exponential rate, at a higher rate, should they not have rights? Huh?
Bye. Go read a book. Go learn something. Toodles.
You know why they lined up outside that courtroom, clapping her on and raising money? We also live in a society where murdering your kids is looked at as free will and your free choice. My body, my choice. We normalize abortion. Abortion is murder, no matter how you want to cut it. The second the sperm and the egg meet and it, there's life in there. So women, my body, my choice, have normalized unaliving their kids to the point where you see women bragging about aborting their kids, about how many abortions they done had. Oh, I'm kid free. Bitch, you got a graveyard in your motherfucking cervix.
And that's the double
So
standard.
if I bust on my girl face, I'd murder something?
No, that's not, it wasn't conception. But like you just said, that's the double standard, because that same woman that's saying, I don't want the baby, my body, my choice, he'd be like, no, please keep the baby. He really ain't got no say-so over that child.
Now, we done seen niggas cry on video about that.
And then, now on the flip side,
I
hey,
don't
bitch,
want it.
I don't want this baby. Do not keep this motherfucker.
Child support.
Child support. It's to the
Take
point.
your license, garnish your check.
Come
the whole
on, bro.
nine.
Or you look like it's a dead because, like, oh, he didn't want nothing to do with this child. Bitch, I already told you off the rip, you was my side hoe. You're not even supposed to be pregnant.
Well, I would ask, why would a woman want to have a child with a man who doesn't even want you, let alone the child?
Because the child will keep you.
I understand
Some women say,
craziness.
but it is some women that say they don't believe in abortions.
But what I'm saying is the bigger key thing was how that correlates. Is a lot of those women don't see nothing wrong with her unaliving her kids.